All right, AP Stats, we're just going to finish this very last page of the guided notes, and you are done for the day. All right, so we're putting it all together here, comparing observational studies to experiments. All right, so the main ideas that I want you to comprehend is, number one, observational studies observe the effect of an explanatory variable on a response variable, but we cannot, let me emphasize that again, cannot prove causation because of confounding variables between the explanatory and one or more due to participants' choice, which means without random assignment of treatment, no conclusion about causation. So that's a sad face for observational studies. All right. So remember, we cannot prove causation between an explanatory and a response variable with observational studies because participants' choice is always confounding. All right, number two, experiments don't just observe individuals or ask them questions. They impose some sort of treatment, and when we say impose treatment, we mean random assignment to measure the response. Oh, I wrote it, and look, I already wrote it right here. All right, so that's a happy face for experiments. Wow, my smile is hitting the eye. All right, so here is our next exercise for these three examples. Number one, we're going to determine the explanatory and response variables. We have explanatory and response for observational studies and for experiments. We just can't draw conclusions about causation if it's a study. And then after that, we'll look at experiment. We'll decide if it's an experiment or an observational study. And it all hinges on, do we assign treatment or not? If we do assign treatment, it's an experiment. If we don't, it's an observational study. All right, example 6, a survey of over 7,000 randomly selected employees. So let me just go ahead and label that as N is 7,000 so that we remember that N is our variable for sample size. All right, so survey of over 7,000 randomly selected. Ooh, I like the word random, but it says randomly selected, not randomly assigned. All right, randomly selected employees in 15 nations recently showed that employees who work in a digital workplace tend to be happier. Let me give you a big thumbs down with that, by the way. This must be an out-of-date survey. All right, tended to be happier than those who did not work in a digital workspace. All right, so number one, is it an observational study or an experiment? Tell me what you think. Hit me with your thoughts on that Ed Puzzle open-ended question, multiple choice. I don't know what I'm going to do till I do it. All right, hope you said observational study. Observational study. Because we didn't assign treatment, right? We didn't say, hey, you guys must work in a digital workplace and you guys must not. We're just observing. And then also, tell me what type of observational study. Is this retrospective, prospective, or a sample survey? All right, I hope you said sample because we're not looking back or looking forward. We're not like looking at past data or tracking future data. We're just asking how people feel in the moment. All right, what's our explanatory variable and our response variable? All right, so our explanatory variable here is digital workplace. Do you work in a digital workplace or do you not work in a digital workplace? That explains your response variable, which is happiness level. All right. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, let me ask you, is there confounding here? Can we draw a conclusion about causation or is there confounding? Yes, it's confounding because of the participant's choice, right? All right, my cat is on the counter trying to get into my delicious homemade cornbread. Let me get her off. Okay. Alright. Okay, so the participants are choosing where they work. So there's a ton of possible confounding variables here about happiness level, right? Digital workplace jobs might involve more travel, and the people that pick more travel probably like to travel, and that could increase their happiness, right? If you work in a digital workplace and you live at home with your family, you get to see them more, right? Versus maybe people who work in a digital workplace and like to be alone. It's all about participant choice, and that's what's confounding here. All right, so we cannot draw conclusions about causation. All right, example 7. According to a study published in the journal Psychological Medicine, ayahuasca, a drink made from Amazonian plants, can help people with depression. The study involves 29 participants, so N is equal to 29, who all had depression. Doctors gave each patient either ayahuasca or a placebo beverage that looked and tasted similar. Those who drank ayahuasca showed significantly lower levels of depression compared to those who drank the placebo. Observational study or experiment, what do you think? Oh my gosh, my spelling. Alright, I hope you said experiment, because it says here doctors gave each participant. So we did have random assignment. We randomly assigned treatment. Of treatment. Alright. Our explanatory variable that has the effect on the response variable, well, the explanatory variable was the ayahuasca. Drinking that or the placebo, right? And the response variable was level of depression. Alright. Can we draw conclusions about causation here, yes or no? Yes, we can, because we assume random assignment. When it says the doctor gave, obviously I would like it for the study to read the doctor randomly assigned. But let's just assume random assignment because of an experiment. We're assuming they do the experiment correctly. Yes, we can draw conclusions about causation. Get me some ayahuasca ASAP. All right. Employees at a video streaming website suspect that their users on desktop computers spend more time on their website than users on their mobile device. They plan on taking a large random sample of users to see if their suspicions are correct. Observational study or experiment. All right, this is an observational study. They take a random sample and they ask people, so this is a sample survey, right? They're not assigning treatment. They're not saying you go on the desktop or you go on the website, you go on the mobile device. They're just observing. They're not doing random assignment. All right, so the explanatory variable was type of device. So whether you have a desktop or a mobile device, so the explanatory type of device, and then the response is amount of time spent on the website. All right, nice work, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully you are enjoying this unit without a lot of math.